Hey everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson,
And I'm Tom Hoblin.
and what a wild weekend at Kansas Speedway. The track never disappoints. We had some great racing all around with the top three series. But Tom, before we dig into all of it, let's start off with our diecast of the week. What'd you bring for us today, bud?
All right, so as we know, a couple weeks ago I went thrifting and I got a few die casts, so I'm going to bring them out each time. Nothing really significant for Talladega this week or anything, but just a really nice piece, if you know what I mean. But no, it's a really good Mark Martin diecast. Came with a box and everything, functioning everything. I mean, it's just a good looking race car.
Oh
But
yeah,
it's the Viagra car. I saw
the
it sitting there. I had to grab it.
that Viagra car is always driving hard, man.
Of course, of course. Plus Mark Martin.
Yep,
So
exactly, man. Gotta love it. All
nothing
right, so
special, but it is what it is.
yeah. And so we do have Talladega coming up this weekend. So for my diecast of the week, I thought I had to bust out Bubba Wallace's first
Hmm.
career Cup Series win, the beautiful McDonald's scheme from 2021, I believe it was.
Yeah,
So it's already been 3 years since Bubba got his first win and just getting better and better. And we know Talladega is one of his top tracks, so keep your eye out for him this weekend.
for sure, for sure. When I signed in, I saw it sitting there like, ooh, that's a good piece right there. That's
Oh
fantastic.
yeah. It was either that or Noah's Talladega win from when I was there
I've seen
2 years
enough of your
ago.
Noah diecasts.
Yeah, I have enough of them. I gotta show off more drivers. All right, so getting into our top stories, Netflix announced that they are doing season two of NASCAR Full Speed. We saw that come out earlier this year, before the season started, and it followed playoff drivers throughout each round of the playoffs. And I'm excited to see season two. They did such a great job last year, and I think it can only get better.
Hey, yeah, I mean, I I can't imagine this being bad for the sport, other than with the charter deal. If one of the stipulations like, oh, if you don't sign the charter deal, you can't be part of Netflix. But like that's getting too in the weeds. I mean, again, my one anecdotal story of this is a friend saw the Netflix series and still to this day will text me about the races. So it's bringing in new people, and that's exactly what we want.
Yeah, we got a little bit more eyes on the sport, and I'm just excited to see more of our NASCAR drivers that we watch week in and week out and see kind of like their lives and how they get prepared for these playoff races. So it's gonna be really exciting.
Yeah, I mean the storytelling was so well done, and I'm happy to see it come back. I'm happy to see more.
Absolutely, man. All right. So if you haven't heard of DraftyCar yet and you're a big NASCAR fan, make sure you head to the App Store now and download. It has taken the NASCAR world by storm. We even got Dale Jr. playing the game. He's posted about it on Twitter. And the creator of the game, he's absolutely awesome. He'll always respond to your tweets if you're having issues with things. We're gonna put all the links down below. This is not a plug. We're not getting paid by them. I'm just saying how awesome this game is. I think I'm already a two-time truck champion, one-time Grand National champion, and I'm on my way to the win a Pro Cup Series championship. But man, I'm addicted to Drafty Car.
And I have a Pixel, and it's the one phone that this app doesn't seem to work on, but I'm still excited to play it. I haven't tried it in a bit, but it looks fun, it looks cool. And it works really well if you don't have a Pixel.
Yeah, right. If you got an iPhone, man, you're ready to go. All right, so Carson Kvapil, it was announced that he is going to be running full time with Junior Motorsports in the Xfinity Series next year, taking over the one car. We know Sam Mayer is going to be going over to the Haas factory team. And I think this is going to be great. We've seen him do some fantastic things in just a few races so far this year.
Yeah, I mean that's what a lineup that Junior Motorsports is going to have next year, both of with Justin Allgaier kind of teaching everybody the ropes, but then these two young phenoms coming through here. Um, and the one thing I worry about, I guess, is the funding for these guys because they're unproven and whatnot. And it's like, where is all that coming from, and how long can that last? But I'm also happy that they are getting this shot with really good equipment. And these guys show up in these one-off races. Uh, Quaffle and Zilich, they show up and they compete. It's not like they're buying their way in. They have the talent to do it, and they're there to learn. And that's exactly what Junior Motorsports has been for.
Yeah, love to see for these guys who have proven themselves so early in their racing career. Another young driver running full time next year, Caden Honeycutt. He will be with Nice Motorsports full time next season. He has done amazing things in that 45 truck. We saw him almost get a win at Kansas earlier in the spring, and he's just been on a roll. So awesome to see that this young talent is going to be able to run full time and show what he's got next year.
For sure. And if he can have those kinds of performances when he's in and out of the seat every so often, imagine what he can do when he's consistently working with the same teams and the same guys, and how all that will affect his career. I mean, you can see the talent in there. It's natural.
Oh yeah, it will definitely boost his career next year, and we'll see some wins out of this kid.
I hope so.
Yeah. All right, let's get into Kansas from this past weekend. We kicked off with the Truck Series. It was their last race of the round of 10. And I always get mixed up with how many they got in the Truck Series because this
Yeah.
round they only eliminated two drivers. Ty Majeski won the pole, and he won stage one. So good to see out of the guy who really only see him like excel on the short track. So it's good to see him kind of grinding more on these kind of cookie cutter mile and a half tracks. Corey Heim, Christian Eckes, we know these are the two top drivers in the truck series. They gave us a battle for the ages on Friday night. It was awesome to see these two guys duke it out. Corey Heim won stage two. Something broke on Matt Mills' truck, and we just saw him kind of veer right into Corey Day, who was making his truck series debut in that 81. Um, Speaking of Corey Day, man, that guy, he ran pretty damn well. He ran well in the ARCA race as well. Hurt some feelings as well, but that's what's going to happen in stock car racing. He's a dirt car driver, and it's cool to see those guys kind of transfer over.
Oh yeah, and I mean he's not coming from that dirt background. You're down to get a little dirty in there and whatnot. So hurt some feel. Who cares? We love to see it as fans, and
Yeah.
it ultimately if he makes good finishes, good results on the track, the owners won't might not care too much if he's banging some stuff up. If he's banging stuff up and not bringing home the results, then that's one thing.
Yeah, exactly, man. So we had Ty Majeski. He was leading this race, but we knew he was low on fuel. Ran out of fuel with one lap to go. We had Corey Heim passing him. Corey Heim wins. He sweeps Kansas for 2024. And how about Lane Riggs? Second place.
Yeah,
This guy kicked off the playoffs with a bang, and he's not even in the playoffs. This guy has just been so dominant.
I I'm confused about Lane Riggs.
Where was
Where
this man?
yeah, they needed to hit one of these all season, and then they could have reaped the benefits of the playoffs if he sneaks into victory lane once during the regular season. But this just out of nowhere, and you wonder if the pressure was mounting as the regular season went on, and now that it's off, he's just going to drive his races again, and he's back in a more comfortable spot. So, um, yeah, on the one thing, it's like, wow, cool, Lane Riggs. And we say this with some of the Cup guys too, but it's like, wow, it's amazing what Lane Riggs was doing. But it's like also on the other hand, what could have been? What
Yeah.
still could be with this truck? I mean, he's been setting the world on fire of late.
If this guy just got one random win throughout the regular season and he kicked it off like this, he would be a championship threat immediately.
Yeah.
But hopefully this will carry over to next season because so far I love this guy's
hmm
energy.
I mean, and just front row and in all, it's expanding. The energy's high in that whole shop over there. Um, really great people over there too. When I visited them in May back for the 600. But it's just a cool place. There's people out there love racing, and Lane Riggs has racing in his family, of course. Um, and it's cool to see someone be successful. We kind of ripped him apart a little bit on this show throughout the regular season. It was like where that truck was winning. Now it's not. Where has he been? What's he doing? And now he's really showing what he can do, and it should make you excited for next season for him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just crazy to see just him flip the switch just like
Mhm.
that because he went from one of like the guys that we thought was one of the worst drivers full time, and now, oh man, I'm excited for him next year to see what he can do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, and like we said, this was the last race of the round of 10 for the Truck Series, and Ben Rhodes and Daniel Dye have been eliminated. Kind of saw that one coming. Ben Rhodes was not having a great year after he won that championship last season. Just really mediocre. And Daniel Dye, he was actually starting to pick it up towards the end of this year. So once again, another
Right.
driver that I'm excited to see perform next year.
Yeah, Daniel Dye can carry it forward next year, and he put a lot of momentum in there, and you didn't really expect to see that truck go do too much this season for. So I think this was a net positive year for Daniel Dye, net negative for Ben Rhodes. I think Thor Sport missed it as a shop this year, but the defending champ going out in the first round is not all that great
Yeah, not good to see, but it does show that there is a lot of talent in this truck series and it's been very competitive.
for sure, for sure.
Alrighty, so let's move on to the Xfinity series. Brandon Jones won the pole, and Nick was saying it last week. That was his pick. He was saying Brandon Jones is fast at Kansas, and we saw that right away.
Very much so, very much so. And again, it's like you rip on this guy for just having the Menards money and whatnot, and I've been guilty of it too. But like, you can show up with money. Like, I could show up to Junior Motorsports next year with $10 million and be like, "Come on, I can race a car." They wouldn't let me sit in that thing. So he still has to have some skill at the end of the day. And it's fun to rip. It's fun to make jokes and poke fun. But the guy can still wheel. Maybe if he's just not the most consistent.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so AJ Allmendinger early in this race puts Sammy Smith in the wall, which eventually led to a flat tire. There was a lot of hurt feelings at the end of this race. A lot of guys yelling at each other, and these two were one of them.
Yeah,
Gotta love Kansas.
the post race cameras did not know who to point at by the end of this thing. So that was just the first of many, as you were saying.
Yep. Taylor Gray, he was running this race. He had mechanical issues taking him out of the race. Uh, Joe Gibbs engine problems this year,
Yeah,
man. Whether it's Cup or Xfinity, is just they
no,
cannot make
right.
these things last.
But you're sitting there and your teammate blows up in stage one. You wonder how that can affect you. And what it's like, well, my engine could be next to go. And you got these guys in there, Chandler Smith's trying to race for the playoffs and whatnot. Sheldon Creed trying to stay alive in the playoffs. Um, and you're just worrying that your engine's going to blow up. It's got to be in the back of your mind.
Yeah, it's got to be really worrisome, especially for a guy like Christopher Bell, who's getting deeper and deeper into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
He's just had so many mechanical issues hit him this year, and I'm just worried he's somehow gonna make the final four, but something is gonna screw him out of the way. I
Yeah,
think this like I'm not agreeing with any of the fans that wrote him off last year, and Netflix didn't interview him till the round of 8 or whatever, or the round of 4. But I think he will make it. I think he is capable of winning this championship, but I think that the car is going to step in his way. I think it's going to be his own car's doing.
yeah, for sure. I mean, we saw it last year at Phoenix as brake rotors blew up. Nobody else had that issue, but this year again with just Toyota as a whole, their engine shop's been sloppy. I mean, they got a Denny Hamlin win literally taken away just because of sloppiness. They're blowing up more engines than I've seen in a while. I mean, that's been for the past few years though. We go back to Kyle Busch at Darlington trying to push to make the round of 8 and maybe the round of 4. And he and Martin both blew up at that race. Like Toyota's engines have been very inconsistent of late.
Yeah, it's been pretty disappointing to say out of the Yoder camp for sure. Eric Almirola, he didn't have any engine issues. He was able to win stage 1. But Justin Allgaier, this has been a season that he just wants to forget about.
Mm.
On the backstretch, he wrecked into the inside wall after trying to go around the 18. along the wall there and just hit the inside wall and wrecked, and his day was over. Just
Tough.
sucks to see another fast car that he had just ended up in the garage, towed away.
1 point to the bad on the playoff bubble, drops 8 spots,
Yikes,
championship
man.
standings. Not how you want to see it.
Nope.
Um, and who knows what he's going to run into at Talladega next week. Also, side note, so rude that we went to Talladega last year and they didn't have Xfinity for us. Now it's miraculously back.
Yeah,
Anyway.
exactly. It's complete and utter bullshit, but whatever. Whatever. Yeah, speaking of
Anyway,
yeah,
moving on.
one
Moving
year
on.
ago, 1 year ago we were in Talladega. So I just got my
All
Facebook
all the
memories and
pictures and videos are showing back up. It's like,
uh,
oh man,
I
what a
miss
time.
it. All right, so Sam Mayer, he was able to hold off Eric Almirola and win stage two.
Ooh, my pick was looking pretty good there.
Yeah, he
I've went out on a
was.
limb. I said Sam Mayer could do it here. Damn.
Riley Herbst, he got spun by Austin Hill. Another conversation was had at the end of this race. And for the
For sure.
first time ever, I think, we saw Austin Hill apologize.
Oh,
Yeah, he was like, I am sincerely sorry. That was all my fault. I turned right into you. I was like,
I
who
mean,
is this guy?
there's only so much BS and face saving you can do before you just got to own up to it. Even if you're known for that sort of thing, you're like, man, I don't want to do that because like
Hmm.
even he comes out of the, we're just racing hard. It is what it is. No, if you screw up, say you screwed up and move on. I'm sure Riley Herbst is upset, but Riley Herbst would have been way more upset. He's like, oh, we're just racing hard. We got to push for every point we can. Just give you the generic BS and whatnot.
Hmm.
So yeah, Riley Herbst's mad. Maybe tiny bit less mad if he
Yeah,
gets a proper apology.
yeah, exactly. And Riley said that those two have raced each other with so much respect
Hmm.
over the years, and this is the first time anything like this happened between these two. So I'm sure
Yeah,
Riley he'll just brush it off. He's not going to do anything to
right.
retaliate.
And
Why would you when you're in the playoffs?
that's the personal relationships that build throughout the season and whatnot. Yeah, maybe Austin Hill's been running over Cole Custer and everybody else in the field, but if he's raced Riley clean, then Riley has no reason to get dramatically upset with him. Um,
Yeah, just
so
don't do it again.
yeah, exactly. If as soon as it starts becoming a recurring theme, then you have bigger issues. But Riley
Right.
says it's not how they race. It's not how they race, and he can take Austin at his word for now.
Yep. All right, we had Cole Custer and Chandler Smith battling, giving us one hell of
Mm.
a battle till the end, but it was Eric Almirola who tracked these two down. Just put in the Jaws music because this guy was ready to eat them up, and he got the win. My pick from last week. So pretty huge for Eric Almirola. That was his second win of the
Congrats.
year, second win with Joe Gibbs Racing. So pretty cool to see for this guy that's just coming back to run a handful of races, and he's running the rest of these playoff races. So everyone's got to be shaking in their boots, man.
I mean, that's just taking away points, and that could have an actual effect on the playoffs. But um, I mean, he had to come back a little bit too. He had some issues that put him way back in the field, and he just drove right back up through there. So Toyotas either have rocket ships or they explode on the launch pad, I guess. But good for Eric Almirola. It's good to see this guy win. I mean, he kind of had this reputation when he was racing in Cup. He's like, yeah, he's always up there with some of the good teams, but is he more of a pay driver and can just afford to be there with his sponsorship money and whatnot? Yeah, he won a few times in the Cup Series, but for him to come out here, the Xfinity is a competitive field, and it shows that he can get it done, and even I guess still get it done after his retirement. So
Yeah.
age is not really a factor either.
Yep, he has been kicking ass, and it's pretty cool to see. So, congrats to Eric Almirola. Let's move over to Sunday for the Cup Series race. Christopher Bell won the pole, so that's another fast Toyota. We had a big wreck, lap one. Josh
Mm.
Berry, Ty Dillon, Jimmy Johnson. My goodness, this guy cannot avoid wrecks. I feel so bad for Jimmy right
Somebody
now.
needs to reteach Jimmy Johnson where the brake pedal is.
Right? He had those Arca
Man,
brakes
I
on,
never
man.
thought I'd say that about a 7-time champion.
Right? Good Lord. And poor Harrison Burton, who's fresh out of the playoffs, wrecked as well.
And poor
So
Josh Berry out of all this. I mean, this was way different than the Brian Blaney Watkins Glen incident. I think Blaney could not turn the wheel, and the wheels would turn.
Hmm.
Barry just had flats, and they're like, "Well, you touch another car, so you're done."
Yep.
It's that's incredibly
That's
frustrating.
something's going to be
Hmm.
changed next year because this is just getting straight up ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a simple fix, but it's not something you can really do until the off season. Just basically, obviously, there are going to be incidents where the driver cannot compete going forward, but simply, if you leave the window up, keep your belts tight, stay in the car, then they should tow you back to pit road.
Right?
Um, if you lower the window nut, get out of the car, then your day's done. That's fine. I mean, even if you could drive it back to pit road, because we see cars way worse for wear drive back to pit road
Oh yeah, all the
and
time.
then retire. Maybe pit road is just the first stop. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. But this needs to stop
Pit
because
crew on the go.
it's silly. That car, I mean, yeah, that car could have. Where did Kyle Larson end up? I know I'm going to get ahead of myself, but Kyle Larson was able to finish this race. He was in the wall.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that Josh Berry's car was not worse for wear than Kyle Larson? Like that's BS. And Kyle Larson finished 26th.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Pretty
It's tough.
stupid, man. I got
I was
pit.
watching it. I was watching at work, and I reacted audibly, of course. And all my coworkers like it because they're like, "It's just cars driving in circles." What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, and then but look, as and one of my other coworkers goes, "Not the Bed Bath and Beyond car. I'm not sure that they can afford that."
No
Oh man,
kidding.
yeah. So shout out to Lance there.
All right. And then that was all caused from Chase Elliott going four wide early. And he was scraping the wall too. So
Yeah.
I don't know what he was trying to prove that early in the race. That's a move you
If
make on the last lap.
here's a conspiracy theory for you. If that's Chase Elliott stuck there on the apron for flat tires, do they kick him out of the race or do they bring him back to the pits? Or
No, they would
because
they would kick him out for
it's
sure.
Josh Berry, so I don't know. He's not in the
Yeah.
playoffs, but it's a conspiracy theory. Popular
Yeah.
driver, popular driver, playoff driver sitting in there. You wonder.
Yeah. I,
But it's not what happened, so we could only wonder.
yeah. All right, and then we, like you said, Kyle Larson, he got a flat tire and he slapped the wall.
Mm.
Wasn't really able to recover, like you said, finished 26. He was struggling a few laps down during this race.
They pitted that car 12 or 15 times. Um, this reminds me of last year when Truex was the regular season champion, and then he just had an abysmal playoffs. He gets to Kansas and cuts a tire on like lap 3 or something, and basically fell out of the playoffs at that point. Um, maybe it was a cutoff race. I don't quite remember specifically, but very eerily similar. And they just showed the tire. He basically hit something on the track and it cut it.
Hmm.
So you're lucky that you're Kyle Larson and you have that playoff buffer and all those extra points, but still, he's now sitting fourth in the standings when he could very well be sitting first if he
Yeah.
just has his normal Kansas race.
And we got Talladega coming up. We don't know what could happen there. And the Roval, he's
Yeah,
good on road courses, but
Kyle
the
Larson,
Roval is chaotic.
and Kyle Larson famously isn't that great at super speedway races. So
Hmm.
a lot of times to no fault of his own, but still,
Yeah, it's just a product.
trends do survive in super speedways. So not definitely not ideal, and I know that's low hanging fruit, but not ideal for the 5 team.
Yeah. He's just got to stay clean and
Hmm.
he'll be fine.
Hmm.
All right, and we had Justin Haley, John Hunter Nemechek wrecked together. Justin Haley's first race for Corey LaJoy. When I saw that seven spinning, I was like, God damn it, Corey, not again. I was like, oh, wait,
Oh
never
wait, no,
mind.
God damn it, Justin Haley. Yeah,
Yeah, wow. Maybe it's just
ooh,
the curse of the seven car. Who
right,
knows?
right. And Corey LaJoy ends up having a good run in the 51. So
Why has he been so fast lately?
I he's trying to get a job, man. Like
He's like, man, I have to
finally
try now.
light a fire under his ass. He can't just sit on the be the cool blue collar guy at Spire anymore. He's got to actually work for it now.
Hmm.
And he doesn't have a sponsorship to fall back on. He can't buy a ride. So he's
Yeah.
going to try to prove to Rick Ware over the next 5 races that he does deserve it. And this was a great start.
Yeah, Chili's may drop him, but they'll give him some baby back ribs to send him home.
Well, Chili's was on Justin Haley's suit now, so I don't think Chili's
Yeah.
was too attached to
Oh,
Corey LaJoy as they were to Spire. So
well, then I guess Walmart can send him off as being employee of the month.
there
The best shopping cart getter.
you go.
Alrighty, so Austin Cindric spins. That is one of our playoff drivers. He was having a decent race, but that sent him
Right.
back. Not ideal for him.
No, he really needed a good race today to kind of bolster, kind of like he did the last round to bolster his position. But now he's sitting last in the points,
Yeah. But
in
we
the
have
playoff
seen
points.
him, we've seen him win a super speedway,
Hmm.
and we know that he is pretty good at the road courses as
Yeah,
well.
it's he grew up racing road courses, so he's don't count him out.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
more so, we've seen Penske really turn it on just historically in the playoffs, but especially in these playoffs.
Yeah, especially at Talladega and especially with that goddamn 12 car.
Well, well, you're just jaded because Kevin Harvick didn't finish second.
Hey, I'm not mad about it. Yeah, he didn't finish second.
Exactly. Exactly. He finished last or something.
Yeah, thank God he didn't win it. My heart would have been broken. I would have set sail into the Talladega Creek.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you would.
Yeah. Alex Bowman wins stage two. Great points for him. We
Hmm.
know that he's going to need everything he can get to survive these playoffs.
I mean,
Uh,
everybody talks about Byron and Larson having great races all the time, best drivers at Hendrick, and Bowman and Elliott still having a just nice, quiet season,
yep.
quiet and
They have been
consistent.
quietly consistent. Yep.
Hmm.
And man, oh man, Tom, Kyle Busch,
Yeah.
it looked.
So let me take you through my mindset here. I'm watching this at work, like keeping it on the side and whatnot. Wanted to tune in, um, and then I direct TV news. So there's a portion of my day or a few portions of my day where I literally cannot do anything but focus on what I'm doing at work. It's not like I can leave it on the side and also direct a TV show. So I pause the race just past 50 to go. Kyle has naturally taken the lead on what should be the last pit stop of the race. And I'm like, man, how are we going to screw this up? And lo and behold,
You screwed it up.
Kyle has grown up in this series and in his racing life with a certain standard of living that doesn't exist anymore in the NASCAR Cup Series. Everything is take, 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 and more take. You don't have the give and take anymore. It's everybody's taking all they can. Chase Briscoe knows that if he goes a lap down and that is the difference there between finishing on the tail end of the lead lap or trying to gain a few extra positions before basically lucky dog versus end of the lead lap. So yeah, he gave Kyle a lane, but he doesn't give him room. He doesn't just lay down to let the leaders pass him. Very frustrating for Kyle Busch, who grew up racing that. Kyle Busch said after the race, I mean, you let these guys usually in the last 50 to laps or so, if the leaders are coming around, you give them room to race. But that doesn't exist anymore. Kyle has struggled with this new car. He's struggled with the new formats. He's struggled with the air on this car and now just the more aggressive thing. He's just not the old crotchety young Kyle Busch anymore. Like it's frustrating. And you could see his inexperience or his not even his inexperience. He's had as much time in this car as anybody has, but how he's just not really melding into the car. He's put in an awkward situation and just literally couldn't handle it. And it's really tough to watch. It's really tough to watch, um, to kind of see your heroes be a little fallible in that way. So, and I even it like hurts myself to think about how I'm sitting there and I had the race paused with 50 to go. And my first thought is like, not, oh, we're going to win this. This is good. My first thought initially was, man, how are we going to blow this? And that kind of shows you the trajectory of Kyle's career to for over the past couple of years. It's been kind of a sad time, but that comes with getting older, I guess. I don't know.
Yep. Welcome to the club, man. Saw that with Kevin Harvick. It's just bound to happen. Jimmy Johnson too. Like everyone
Right.
just slows down at one point. I don't think Kyle's completely done.
No.
He has had some fight in him for the past month or so. I still think he's going to give these last few races here one hell of
And
a fight because you know he wants that 20 years.
yeah, and he's not, I don't think he's close to retiring.
No way.
And we see how much NASCAR as an industry just changes. And so who knows when he is close to retiring in 4 or 5 years, how much the car will change and if that'll play into his favor. But like, yeah, Kevin Harvick kind of gives me hope that he had those 9 wins towards the end of his career. I was like, maybe we can go on a hot streak again. I don't know. Can we do it with RCR? Probably not. But who's going to take a washed up old guy at this point who hasn't shown that he can drive this car well? I don't know. So yeah, it's it's been a tough ride. It's been a tough season to watch. I don't have much more to say on that.
Yeah. All I got to say is Kyle Busch sucks. Just
Hmm.
kidding. Fuck Kyle Busch. All right.
Hmm.
I got it out of my system.
Hmm.
Let's move on.
It's more it's less fun when you're kicking somebody while they're down, isn't it?
No, it is.
Oh,
I
okay,
say
okay, okay, whatever, man, whatever.
All right. So after that, we get Ross Chastain
Mhm.
able to hold off William Byron and get his first win of the 2024 season. Um, Ross Chastain, I mean, not in the playoffs, but he's just trying to win some races, and he did it. So,
If
woo.
you don't have Darlington or Daytona go the way they do, this race win means a whole lot more.
Oh yeah.
Ross Chastain's in it on points without those two guys winning. Um, another thing, what could have been? Kind of like we were saying with Lane Riggs, and we'll say it again. I'm sure in this playoffs one more time. It's like what could have been with these guys? Because this win would have put Ross Chastain in the round of 8, just like that, top 8. So you love to see it for Trackhouse. I mean, that's fine. It is what it is. Um, you you have Chastain get a win, but it kind of doesn't feel great when it's not worth as much anymore.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, he'll try and keep up the momentum. He won Phoenix last
Mhm.
year, and he wasn't a playoff contender either. So he can do his best Lane Riggs impression and just be a beast in the playoffs without being in the playoffs.
No, exactly. But you got to feel that. I mean, this win, if he's in the playoffs, this win puts him in the round of 8, and you have the defending Phoenix race winner. Like that's where again it's like, yeah, you won, but stab you in the heart a little bit.
Yep.
What could have been?
Pretty bittersweet.
I will say one more thing. I'm still kind of stuck on this. The Kyle Busch note. He kept that car in the lead lap. They stapled it back up. They got it put back together, and he made one hell of a fight on that first restart right after the wreck. He was back up to like 4th. But
Yeah.
then there's I forget what the other caution was for, and then it did another restart, and he restarted 3rd or 4th, and then he just fell. Tough to watch,
Yeah.
but
Still
yeah.
got some fight though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna be making our picks for Talladega. So stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to be making our picks for Talladega. We got the trucks, Xfinity, and the Cup Series all running at Talladega this upcoming weekend. And me, Tom, and Nick, we all agreed we are going to start playing for points with our picks. It's going to be fun. We're going to be starting it right now, and we're going to be moving on and do a full season next year. So we're gonna do a little trial right now for the rest of the season, see how it goes.
So
If we get
your pick of Almirola didn't count.
Nope, does not
Okay.
count.
Because
Yeah.
I was trying to think back. I was like, I hit a couple winners later in the season. I was like, is it only for the playoffs? Do I already have points? But no, we're all at 0.
Yep,
We're
we're
all
all
at
at 0.
0. Great.
Just gonna do a little trial, see how it goes, see if we like it, and then we'll maybe adjust a little bit starting for the 2025 season. But if you get a truck pick right, you're gonna get 10 points. If you get an Xfinity pick right, you're gonna get 50 points. And a cup pick, that's massive. That is 100 points. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to kind of tally all this up and see who the winner is. I don't know. We haven't decided if we're gonna do it for just bragging rights or what, but we'll see.
I sure haven't agreed to anything yet.
Yeah.
This is like the old Winston Cup format where it's just like the points don't make any sense. It's like whose
Nope.
line is anyway? They don't matter. They don't make sense.
They don't make sense,
yeah.
but it's all for fun.
But with all that being said, you're going down, and Nick, you're going down. I'm gonna beat you all.
Well, Nick has been on fire with our fantasy league for like 3 years in a row,
yeah.
so I'm scared to compete with this guy. But let's get into our picks. We're gonna start off with the truck series. We got the Loves RV Stop 225. Shout out Front Row Motorsports. 226-mile race, 85 laps. Stages 1 and 2 are 20 laps each, and the final is 45 laps. Previous winner here, Brett Moffitt, won here last year. There was no race in the spring, but that was awesome to see.
Famously, it was after Front Row sent me a bunch of fun stuff in the mail, and then they brought Brett Moffitt in there to push Zane Smith to the win, and then Zane Smith wrecked in a pit stop, and his truck fell out of the race. And then Brett Moffitt's like, "Fuck it, I'll go win. Why not?"
Yep.
What a wacky race.
Yeah, just a one-off for Brett Moffitt, but that was cool to see him get the win for Front Row Motorsports last year. Some notables in this upcoming race. We got William Sawalich, who will be in the 1 for Tricon. Storman Norman Benning is back. Always love to see him running, even though he's probably not gonna make it past qualifying.
His truck chassis is probably 15 years old at this point, isn't it?
Oh, it is probably from 1995, the first season they ran the truck series.
He's just been editing it slowly. Excellent.
Connor Zilich will be in the 7 for Spire, and Ryan Reed is making a return to NASCAR. We haven't seen him in a handful of years. He will be in the 91 for MHR. So, Tom, we're going to start off with you, bud. Who is going to be your pick to win on Saturday for the Truck Series?
You know what? I was leaning in finger. I was feeling it. I was like, that's the safe pick. He's in the playoffs. He's going to want to go win. But I mean, last year, my regaling that story of Brett Moffitt coming in on a one-off makes me want to change my pick. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to lock me into Ryan Reed. Feel good story. Shows up. He knows how to get it done at super speedways. It's been a little bit, but again, it was a little bit for Brett Moffitt, and he got it done at a super speedway. I'm feeling a wacky truck race.
All right.
Feeling a wacky truck race at Talladega, so I'm going to go with a wacky winner, Ryan Reed.
Ryan Reed's won Daytona twice in the Xfinity cars, so he knows how to get it done, man. Great
Let's
pick.
do it. Why not? Why not?
like
It's only worth 10 points.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. All right, so I gotta go with Connor Zilich. We've just been talking about this guy for weeks and weeks. He has set the NASCAR world on fire. One of the greatest young talents to come through the sport. And I just think he's fast. This is gonna be his first super speedway race too, so we'll see how he can control himself.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can't imagine he will do anything wrong because like he's just Connor
smart, man.
Zilich. Whatever he sits in is fast in it.
Yep.
He maybe he won't get as much help because those yellow bumper stripes, but if he's got speed, you may want him on your side. So, and he's always got speed.
Yep. And we saw the 7 truck win at Atlanta earlier this year with Kyle Busch, so we know that they're ready for super speedway racing.
For sure. I mean, again, he's a very skilled driver, but this doesn't. I don't want to say super speedway racing doesn't take skill because it definitely does, but the type of skills that Zilich has may not translate well to a super speedway style race. He just turned 18. He hasn't been on a track like this before. So maybe maybe he's not as trustworthy because a lot of this racing comes down to your trust in your competitors and whatnot. And people may not want to be around him because of the inexperience. So I feel like that'll be a big struggle for him
Yep.
when they race. But again, he's really good. So who's to say he can't get it done?
Yep. There's only so much the simulator can teach you, but
Mhm.
so far from what we've seen, this kid is a damn fast learner.
Yes, for sure.
Alrighty, so let's move over to the Xfinity Series race, the United Rentals 250, 250 miles, 94 laps. Stages 1 and 2 are 20 laps each, and the final will be 54. Previous winner, we had Jesse Love win here in the spring. There was no race last fall. Some notables in this one, Taylor Gray back in the 19 for Joe Gibbs. Hopefully he can get redemption. Doesn't have an engine blow on him. Would love to see something good for this guy. Love the Gray brothers. Eric Almirola's in the 20. Dean Thompson is going to be running the 26 for Sam Hunt Racing. Great opportunity for this guy. Jordan Anderson, great to see him back in a car at Talladega Super Speedway. We know he had that issue with that fire a few years ago,
Yeah. And
where he had some.
look who's on the box for him. Larry McReynolds will
All
be his crew
right.
chief. So
Oh, beautiful.
always fun
Love
to
to
see
see
Larry Mack
Larry.
at the track.
Oh yeah. I mean, he almost took Jeffrey Earnhardt to victory lane a few years ago at Talladega.
Mm-hmm.
And Carson Kvapil will be in the 88 for Junior Motorsports. So, Tom, I'll pick first. I'm going to go with a very, very obvious pick here. I'm going with Austin Hill, 21 car to win at a super speedway. I know. Oh my God. Whoa.
Wow. I'm about to blow your mind here because I'm going to lop a one off that number and take the 2 car. I mean, how are we supposed to go against RCR at Talladega? How are you supposed to do it?
Yep.
So we're gonna the two of us are gonna stick with RCR this weekend, and if we're wrong, well, then we're wrong. I mean, again, not that it doesn't take skill, but it's a crapshoot sometimes. So
Yeah, we shall see. Oh, and also, Nick's truck pick is going with Lane Riggs.
hmm
And his Xfinity pick, he's going to be going with Parker Kliger. When we know Parker
mm.
runs pretty dicey on these super speedways, so great choice.
Yeah, I really like that pick. Um, I wanted to go with it, but Nick got him first. And Parker could use the win. I mean, put Parker into the next round. He's minus 15 right now. Um, and he's a stout road course racer, but this is the better of the opportunity of the two for Parker to move on.
Yep, he's got 2 Truck Series wins at Talladega, so would be perfect, and it would just be a great send off for him since we know he's going to
Mhm.
be done competing full time after this year. All right, so let's move over to the Cup Series race, the Yellowwood 500. 500 miles, 188 laps. Stages 1 and 2 are 60 laps each, and the final will be 68 laps. Previous winners here, we had Tyler Reddick win here in the spring, and Blaney won last year.
Yeah, I want to take a pause for a second and talk about Tyler Reddick. Maybe being the regular season champ isn't all that it's cracked up to be because we've seen Martin Truex struggle last year. Now, Tyler Reddick, amazing that all those playoff points, all that extra bonus points you get for winning the regular season. Obviously, you have to compete well to win the regular season. So you have bonus points from that. And after Kansas, 2311 just didn't show up to Kansas, which is not a statement we're used to saying since 2311 has existed. They loved Kansas for whatever reason. But Tyler Reddick's sitting below the bubble, which blows my mind. Absolutely blows my. I mean, again, Kevin Harvick, we saw him have struggles that 9-win season I brought up earlier in the show. Didn't make it out of the round of 8. It's kind of crazy. And Tyler Reddick towards the end of the season, the regular season, had a run of just like top 6 finishes for like 6 or 7 straight. And it's like he was chasing the image I have in my mind is Roadrunner and Coyote, and Kyle Larson is the Roadrunner, and Tyler Reddick's Coyote, and they're running towards a cliff, and Kyle Larson doesn't quite get to the edge of the cliff first, but Tyler Reddick just blows right past it, and he's flying, 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 and then he realizes there's no ground behind him, and the playoffs started. He just fell out of the sky. It's really odd. It's odd to see. Um, so hopefully he can get it turned around. We know he's a stout road course racer. Obviously won at Talladega. But I mean, he kind of was just in the right place at the right time, both with the Toyotas all taking themselves out and then all the Fords taking themselves out. So it'll be interesting. I'll be keeping a close eye on the 45 of the next two races because he should be in the championship four with the season he's had. And if he exits in the round of 12, it'll be pretty astounding.
Yeah, he's my champion on my bracket, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
really surprising to see the fall off that he's had.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm just when they put up the points at the end of the race and you just didn't hear about it, they struggled, 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 and then he's below the bubble. It's like, wow, where
Yeah,
did that come from? Where did that come
just
from?
you bad races can do that, man. It's insane
Hmm.
how these playoffs work.
Yeah, I mean, I have him in my four. I went with another Toyota Bell to win, but I mean, it's just tough.
Yeah, really is. All right, so some notables for the Yellowwood 500. AJ Allmendinger, he's going to be in the 13 for Colleague. SVG, he's going to be in the 16 for Colleague Racing. I can't wait to see SVG do the double here at Talladega. And Anthony Alfredo will be in the 62 for Beard Motorsports. So, Tom, we'll start off with you, bud. Who is going to be your winner on Sunday at Talladega?
Who was going to be my winner? That's right. Well, we saw towards the end of the spring race, the Fords were just the class of the field. Mike McDowell was leading, and then he just made one too many blocks. Um, Kind of took out the rest of the Fords, and Tyler Reddick squeaked through for the win. I expect the Fords to show up again. We saw Blaney win in last fall. Penske always likes to show up with the season coming to an end, but I'm going to go with the RFK 17 of Chris Buescher, non-playoff driver. I just have that feeling again. It's another non-playoff driver type of win, type of race. And I think Chris Buescher will have the speed to get it done.
Yeah, he's already done it in
Hmm.
these playoffs, so why not?
Yeah,
Chris Buescher is just pretty damn good on these
and
super speedways as well.
as much as I hate to say it, Brad K will probably be right up there with him, and Brad K could. It was a crapshoot, but if I have the choice between the 6 and the 17, I'm going to pick the 17 because boo Brad K. Anyway,
Man, even those two have gotten over it.
yeah, but now they're both out of the playoffs, and now the job is to just go win,
Yep,
and the Fords are
very
fast,
true.
and they'll get it done, which is not something I expected to say from the Fords' performance at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, right. Nick is going to be going with Ryan Blaney. That's a great pick. Ryan Blaney's always stout at Talladega, and it's always going to be in a photo finish win too.
Yeah, I mean, masterclass between him and his spotter coming down to it at the end of the race last year. He got ahead but didn't let Byron get clear that inside line, so he really could control both lines coming around last fall. He just knows what he's doing. We see him, Ryan Blaney, for whatever reason at Talladega, knows how to get these photo finishes done.
Yep. Absolutely amazing. Another guy who is pretty damn good at Talladega, I gotta go with that 23 car of Bubba Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
Got his first win here. This diecast right here, first win of his career. So definitely excited to see Bubba wheel it around again at Talladega. We know that he loves these super speedway races. His first ever Daytona 500, got a second place finish.
For sure, for sure. Again, these cars aren't super conducive to the speedway racing and whatnot, so you hope that they can make something happen again. We see a lot of fuel mileage sort of stuff going on. We don't really want to see that. We don't want to see a lot of overtimes. But you hope Bubba can get in the right position in the right place at the end. But we're going to be talking a lot more pit strategy, a lot more fuel strategy than we might like to at these racetracks. But Bubba, I mean, his teammate found himself in the right spot at the end of last race here. Why can't Bubba find himself in the right spot here?
Yep. And some guys that are just going to really need to stay alive at Talladega. A lot of these guys who are near that bubble. Uh, Alex Bowman, even Denny Hamlin, he's not safe. He's plus 11.
Well,
Kyle
Denny
Larson's only
Hamlin,
plus 18.
they were saying on the teardown, Denny Hamlin has the least amount of super speedway points of any driver. Maybe it's any playoff driver that's left this season. So Denny's going to a place. Kansas did not go the way he expected it to, and now you almost expected Denny to win Kansas and not have to worry about these two races. But now that he doesn't, it's going to be tough. I don't think Suarez and Briscoe and Cindric, barring anything crazy, make it out of this round. But obviously Reddick can be pretty scary at any of these places.
I wouldn't count
So
Briscoe out, man. I think he's
mhm.
already my pick to win the Roval.
Okay, wow,
Where he
locking
got
it
his
in
first Xfinity win.
early. Yeah.
He runs pretty good at the Indy Roval when they used to go
Mhm.
there as well.
So yeah, I think Briscoe has to win one of these next two races.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm more saying they're out on points. I don't think Daniel Suarez with the speed we saw him have at Kansas is going to be able to show up and do anything at the Roval. And so it comes down that he's going to have to get a lot of points here if he wants to make it on points. Um, and that's the thing when you try to control your destiny in this type of race. We saw it with Denny at Atlanta. He was kind of hanging around the back because his car wasn't handling well, and he was trying to avoid wrecks, and the wrecks never happened.
The wreck came to
So
him.
yeah, and he scores less than 20 points at a
Yeah.
super speedway. It's just not good, not good.
You got to be
Denny
aggressive.
Denny can't have a day like that today or this week. Um, I agree. Denny's looking less sturdy than he did basically all through the regular season, even though
Hmm.
he hasn't won since like April.
Yeah.
He still felt like a sturdy, good pick week in and week out, but now he's kind of on shaky ground.
I mean, it's just crazy to see like some of these guys who had like a mediocre regular season
Mhm.
are doing pretty damn good in the playoffs right now. I mean,
True.
William Byron, Ryan Blaney, both of those guys were just asleep during the summer. At least
Yeah, I mean
William Byron.
William Byron started really hot and then they couldn't continue that momentum.
Hmm.
Again, Kyle Larson's still scary because he won in all stages of the season. He just never turns
Yeah.
it off. Um, but like Brian Blaney, you expect this from the Penske guys. They light it on fire once the playoffs come.
Hmm.
Um, but Byron, really good to see him have a good day at Kansas. If you're a Byron fan, that gives you hope that he can finish out the season pretty strong. Blaney, we know we've seen it. It was last year. He finished out the season really strong last year. Um,
Yeah, I'd
so
say so.
yeah, I think if you're a Ford fan, you're happy that Penske's in there. I think if you're a Chevy fan, you know that Byron and Larson are going to be there consistency. And if you're a Toyota fan, a little scared because yeah, they're
Anything could happen.
fast, but they have some mechanical issues going on. You blow up one engine and it's going to ruin the rest of your playoffs. So, um, and they push these engines kind of hard at
Yeah.
both the Roval and at Talladega
It's gonna be a dicey rest of the playoffs.
for
It's gonna be
sure.
dicey for this round. The round of 12 is scary. That's why everyone wanted to have a
Yeah,
good Kansas,
yeah,
but Kansas got wild.
yeah.
And so
Kansas,
everyone's
Kansas. You wanted to have consistent days, and you had 9 of the 12 playoff drivers have issues in one way or the other, having to pit extra times, having incidents on the track. Chase Elliott with his engine issues in practice and whatnot. So I'm expecting a fun truck race. I'm expecting an excellent Xfinity race, and I'm expecting an edge of your seat Talladega for the Cup Series, but maybe not in the best way. It's just like, oh man, what's going to happen? Are they going to do something? It's fuel mileage. We're running 5 seconds slower than qualifying. What's going on? And then the race ends. So
yeah,
I'll be on the edge of my seat, but I know not sure I'll like it too much.
yeah. We will have to see because
And I
pretty
hope
much
I'm
every
wrong.
super speedway race has been like, man, what's gonna
Yeah,
happen here?
yeah. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they're able to push. I hope they're able to make moves. Um, one note: there was rumors about or industry talk about an extra piece of aero being put on the car that looked a little bit ridiculous. They're not going to go with that. They're not going to be running that. I assume they're probably still running that extra fin on the window that they ran at Daytona, even though it didn't help.
Yeah, they will
But
be.
but So nothing there. This thing was going to look so silly.
Yeah.
Might have made a fun diecast though.
Yeah, who knows?
I guess we'll never know. But there's going to be an extra fabric flap or something in the roof flaps to hopefully get these cars to stop blowing over. But only
Not
time
gonna
will
help.
tell. Only
Yep.
time will tell.
It's just because these cars are built like Hot Wheels on the bottom, man. Alrighty, guys. Well, that will do it for us here at the Stock Car Spectacle. If you haven't yet, make sure to like our video and subscribe to our channel. Make sure to check out all of our links down below. Alrighty. Well, we'll see you guys later. Enjoy Talladega. For the Stock Car Spectacle, I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Tom Hoblin.
And we'll see you guys next time.